Hi, my name is Ryan Wagner, and this is the Daily Download. We are on day 18 of our Advent devotional series, which looks at the events of the Old Testament and how they point towards Christ as we spend this season anticipating and remembering his birth. So today we're going to look at Nehemiah, a book of history in the Old Testament that follows a cupbearer in the court of Artaxerxes. At this point in time, Israel has gone through the exile, which is just a period of time that God warned would come if they continued in their sin. After years of not following God's instructions, God uses the exile, an exile of the majority of the people of Israel to Babylon, to begin to reveal to them what they've been doing wrong, to have them trust in God and point them kind of in the right direction. The inciting incident of Nehemiah's story takes place 50 years after the exile, when he learns that Jerusalem's walls have been destroyed. The destruction reminds Nehemiah not only of the sins of Israel, but God's promise of restoration to the land. So in faith, he asks the king of Persia, Artaxerxes, to return and rebuild the walls. In chapter 9 of Nehemiah's story, we get the Jews who live in the remnants of the city, and they assemble with Nehemiah and recount their history. From the very beginning, they see all the ways not only how they've sinned, but how God has responded and guided them through their sufferings. Once they see how God has been with them the whole time, they overflow with love for God, making vows to follow God's instructions and do everything they can to follow his instructions and serve him. Have you ever been that in love with somebody or have that much love for someone? A friend, a spouse, a child? To have a relationship that you can look at and treasure so dearly that promises and vows to commit and protect just overflow. Is that how you would describe your relationship with God? Like Israel, we can be quick to forget how God is working in our lives. It may be difficult to look back at our history and see God working the way the Israelites did. And on the surface, it may seem like you don't have a history like that. You may look at your own life and see a bunch of disconnected events, long stretches of silent struggle, and pointless suffering. You may often wander from season to season asking, what am I doing here? What does any of this mean? Where is any of this going? But as Christians, we should remember and rejoice in the fact that God's history is our history, and God is working in our lives the same way he worked in the lives of the Jewish people. We should rejoice in the fact that this history of our failings and God's faithfulness led to the King of the world coming to earth as a baby and being born in a manger. Imagine yourself traveling through history and standing in that stable on that cold Christmas night, kneeling beside the manger like the wise men, looking down at the Savior of the world sleeping in heavenly peace. I don't know what kind of season you're in during this holiday. You could be in a tough place, a place of mourning, or a place of just rejoicing and enjoying time with family. But I want you to know that no matter where you are or what you've gone through, you have a Savior who loves you and has loved you since the beginning. And a Savior who knows and sees your history, and instead of pulling away, draws near. I want you to let the love and peace you feel from that overflow into your life this week as we get closer to Christmas.